Τσογουλού, Priority, Rumble, Thresh, MF, Κάρθους, Lock. Ναι!
Πάρα πολύ θα μας περνάει σχεδόν σε όλους εδώ πέρα. Τίποτε να έχουν κάνει αυτό μια φορά. Πάμε στο proof. Homeless, καλησπέρα, πάμε.
Το wave management είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό. Χάνονται πάρα πολλά.
Έλα, Βασίλη, κούρασε. Έλα, Βασίλη. Έλα.
Αυτό είναι draft, αγόρι μου.
Κάνε Βασίλη.
Κάρθους Lock λοιπόν στο Greek Legends, επιτέλους. Στο 13 είπαμε θα επιστρέψει, επιστρέφει.
Ωραία. Πάμε να δούμε λοιπόν το βιντεάκι της Riot για το pre-season. Έχει 15 λεπτά βίντεο. Πάμε. Καλησπέρα φίλε. Να είσαι καλά. Κάμερα. Ωραία. Έλα ακούμε. Έλα ακούτε. Γεια σου ερώτηση. Πού τα ακούτε τώρα.
After that, I'm going to pass the metaphorical
Έβαλε.
over to TheRock7, who is going to talk to you about the recent durability update as well as our plans for preseason.
Ναι.
So before we get into the new champions coming up this year, let's take a quick look back at the champions we've released in 2022 so far.
Ωραία.
First we had the speedy ADC Zeri, then the girl boss Renata Glass.
Ναι. Ωραία.
After that, the Void Empress herself, Belva.
Ωραία.
And then most recently, the Joyful Neela. And just around the corner, we have the Udyr VGU, complete with a dad bod worthy of the Freljordian gods.
Ωραία.
Udyr's development has been a long journey, especially since he's been the first VGU that we've done that's had an ultimate skin. We appreciate you all being patient with us on this one, and hopefully the wait has been worth it.
Ωραία.
So in addition to the new champions we've released this year, we've also been shipping a lot of mid-scope updates to various champions, including Janna, Ahri, Swain, Talia, Olaf, and recently Sivir.
Ωραία.
Because we slowed down the release of new champions, we've had a bit more time to
Για πάμε λίγο ξανά αυτό.
ship small. Because we slowed down the release of new champions.
Αυτό που κάνανε δηλαδή ήταν slow down the release of new champion. Κάθε ένα μήνα λέγαμε η Zeri, το rework του ένα, να το καινούριο champion, το ένα, το άλλο. Αυτό είναι το slow down. Δηλαδή αν δεν ήταν slow down θα είχαμε κάθε εβδομάδα άλλο champion.
We've had a bit more time to ship smaller updates to champions on the roster that have fallen behind the pack. So the goal of mid-scope updates isn't to reimagine a champion's visuals, theme, or gameplay.
Ναι.
That's reserved for VGUs.
Ναι.
Instead, we want to freshen up the champions that aren't living up to the expectations of the players who love them. We try to strengthen their fantasy even more, rather than reinvent it. So for Swain, we pushed his fantasy of an unkillable frontline mage to the max. And for Ahri, we focused on her fantasy of a mobile mage, rather than the assassin she had become.
Ωραία.
We saw really great responses to these projects, as well as healthy play rate spikes after their release.
Δεν διαφωνούμε σε αυτό.
Given all of this,
Δεν διαφωνούμε σε
we
αυτό.
want to keep pursuing mid-scope updates.
Κομπλέ ήταν αυτά.
And we already have a few champions we're exploring, including Nico and Syndra.
Νίκο και Σύντρα. Αυτές είναι οι επόμενες αλλαγές. Ωραία πράγματα θα δουν τα ματάκια μας. Βλέπουμε την αλλαγή της Riot.
So now let's talk about some projects I've been super excited to share with you.
Αυτά φοβάμαι.
So later this year, we have a new top lane tank hailing from Shurima, who I briefly mentioned in the last champion roadmap.
Okay.
This new champion will introduce a part of Shurima that we haven't explored yet. The city of Nezuma.
Καλό γιατί αλλάζει και το lore. Μ' αρέσει.
Now Azuma is an oasis city-state in the southern outskirts of the desert, and unlike the rest of Shurima, they don't bow to Azir. Situated on one of the only water sources for miles, the people of Nezuma had to compete with giant monsters just trying to stay hydrated. It was a hard-fought struggle, but they eventually claimed the oasis as their own and built their society.
Δεν είναι payback αλλά εντάξει, προσπαθεί.
500 years later, this new champion leads the warriors of Nezuma to hunt those same monsters, using the rare resources they gained to build their infrastructure and weapons. He actually fought one of
Opa.
the largest monsters the desert has ever known,
Ωραία.
creating his unique Entofos
Έχει
out
άλλο
of
ένα
its
αγώνα, ναι, θα το
rare
δούμε.
regenerating hide. Entofos are huge, blunt weapons that can be used defensively,
Ναι.
but at any moment, he can shatter them, revealing carefully crafted blades
Ναι.
capable of tearing through
Αρκετής
any
είναι αυτό.
foe in
Αρκετής.
seconds. Soon after, the hide will regenerate back to its blunt form, so he can, like, bludgeon the crap out of you. It's honestly quite impressive to see.
Να έχει
But you
τίτλο.
don't have to take my word for it. The entire city-state is basically permanently impressed by him.
Αυτά
I mean,
φοβάμαι.
he's Kasanti, the pride of Nezuma. You don't get that title for nothing. So after Kasanti, we will be releasing the highly anticipated Aurelian Soul CGU. To remind everybody, a CGU, or Comprehensive Gameplay Update,
10 λεπτά ακόμα.
is a new type of update we are testing out on Aurelian Soul.
Ναι.
So the goal is to completely reimagine A-Soul's gameplay without changing his visuals or narrative at all. Since let's be honest, those aspects of Aurelian Soul are still amazing, even by today's standards. But I know what you're thinking. Less talking, Mr. Reeve, more action. And by action, we mean videos. Okay, fine. Twist my arm a little bit more, will you? Now keep in mind, the visuals are still a work in progress. One of the goals was to enhance his dragon theme.
Oh no.
And what do dragons do? Well, they breathe fire, of course. A-Soul's new Q allows him to breathe fire for as long as he has mana to do it. But let's not forget the other thing dragons do, as long as he has mana to do
Άρα όσο έχει μάνα μπορεί να καστάρει ένα spell το οποίο δεν σταματάει ποτέ.
it. But let's not forget the other thing dragons do, fly. His new W allows him to take to the skies. But this time, he doesn't have to walk in a straight line for like ever. He can now fly with the push of a button. But really, let's be honest,
Αυτό γυριακό.
he's a dragon. And if there's one thing more
Oh no, έχει κι άλλο. Έχει κι άλλο.
iconic than either flying or breathing
Ναι, φάση με την
fire,
ανίβια
it's
έψουν
flying
κάποιος.
while breathing fire, which you can do by combining his Q and W.
Έγινε, ναι.
While breathing fire, which you can do by combining his Q and W.
Μαλάκα.
We did it. So after
Είδες πόσο χαρούμενος είναι.
combining his Q
Ναι,
and
δες
W,
εδώ.
we did it.
We did it.
So after Aurelian Soul, we have a champion I've been
We did it.
literally dying to talk to you about. One of the things the League community hounds me about constantly is wanting to see more Darkin champions.
Πόσα. Λοιπόν, άκου, Μπλάφι. Δεν θα απαντήσω στην ερώτηση σου ακριβώς. Αλλά άκου πώς μιλάει ο τύπος αυτός. Απλά άκου και κοίτα τον. Και απλά θα καταλάβεις από μόνος σου.
Darkin fans are like, throw me a frickin' bone here. And believe you me, I'm right there with you, barking for some Darkin. And
τον
one
άκουσα,
night,
αγόρινα.
at around 2:34 a.m., I
Έσου,
woke up in a
δεν
fever
θα
sweat.
έχει καλά,
And
βέβαια.
at that
Δεν,
moment, it hit me. I'm on the champions team. If I want more Darkin, I can just talk to the team about it. And gosh dang it, I did just that. And the team was like, heck yeah, we want more Darkin as well. We love Darkin. So yeah, long story short, we're making a new Darkin assassin.
Oh no.
So I know what you're gonna ask next. What's the weapon? Each Darkin is trapped in some super awesome weaponry. Please tell us what it is. We must know.
Φαίνεται
Well, I
καμένος φούλο το
love
παλικάρι.
watching you all squirm beneath
Μαλάκα,
my
ναι, δεν μπλινκάρει. Έχει δίκιο στα πόρτα, δεν μπλινκάρει. Δείτε τα μάτια
intricate
του.
yet vague
Δείτε τα μάτια του, δείτε τα μάτια του, δεν
champion
μπλινκάρει.
roadmap users. I'm not gonna be that
Oh,
cruel
μπλικάρε.
today. The weapons are like the coolest part about Darkin after all. So
Δείτε,
this
δείτε,
one was
δείτε,
actually
δείτε.
trapped in a dagger,
Let's-
which is now a Darkin dagger, of course, because that's how that works. And here's what it
Ρε, δεν
looks like.
μπλινκάρει, όντως δεν μπλινκάρει, μαλάκα, δεν είναι
So
απίστευτο.
edgy, so dark.
Δεν έχω κλείνει το μάτι.
And as to who or what got a hold of these daggers,
Ρε.
well, you'll just have to wait and find
Ανοιγόκλεισε,
out.
ανοιγόκλεισε. Ξανά.
Another thing a lot of
εντάξει.
people have been asking to see progress on is the Ari update that we announced at season
Εντάξει,
start.
εντάξει, κομπλέ.
Well, the ASU team has been hard at work and is ready to share some art,
Oh, no.
like the final composition seen here.
Χωρίς χέρια θα είναι η Άρη.
The base version is close to complete, and the team is super excited to show you some of the progress on how
Lambi.
she's looking in game. Look at all those sweet polygons. And here's a sneak peek of her updated VFX.
Ωραίο φαίνεται. Καθόλου που ξεγιάζουμε.
Ari still has a ton of skins that also need to be updated. So she still needs a little more time in the Foxfire oven before we can get her in your hands.
Απλά εγώ είμαι Κινέζος.
But you can expect to see her sometime early next year. So that's about it for Champion news. Though I will leave you with one small thing. On top of wanting a new Darkin, we've seen a lot of players asking us to expand on Ixtal. We've also heard you asking for us to make a male enchanter. Well, I say, why not both? I'm happy to say we have right now.
Εσείς φταίτε, μαλάκι, φταίτε. Πάτε και τους δίνετε ιδέες. Βλέπετε τι κάνετε. Πάτε και γράφετε στα Reddit και στα Twitter και τους δίνετε ιδέες. Και λέει ο άλλος, πολύ καλή ιδέα. Γιατί να μην κάνουμε 5 champions σε ένα. Why not? Ξαναγράψτε μαλακίες στο Twitter και θα φάτε blog.
A new male enchanter from Ixtal. The new champion will show a very different side to Ixtal, far from the lavish palaces Kiana grew up in. So take a look at this art teaser that the team working on him put together. Oh my god, they're so adorable. Well, that's enough cuteness for now. So as promised, let's hear from TheRock7 on the champion durability update and...
Καλά, έρχεται όλο το αλάνι τώρα. Καλά, πάμε. Θα γουστάρουμε.
Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Long Harrison, aka TheRock7,
εσύ είσαι αυτός.
lead game designer on the Summoners Rift.
Μάλιστα.
We work on things like...
Άρα εσύ ευθύνεσαι για αυτό το balance που έκανες. Καλό ήταν βέβαια, άρα θα σου πω ένα μπράβο εδώ. Όντως ήταν πολύ καλή αλλαγή, να ξέρεις. Αλλά, αγόρινα μου, μέσα στη σεζόν, ενώ παίζεις όλα τα ERL, δεν τις κάνεις αυτές τις αλλαγές. Δεν ξέρω τι σκεφτόσουν γενικά.
Like balancing the game,
Βρήκα
in-game
δεν ξέρω,
systems
ερώτηση
like the
πραγματικά.
durability update and items, and preseason.
Πραγματικά.
I've got a few things to cover today,
Yeah,
so let's jump right into
Για
it.
να δούμε τι θα πρωτοπιάσεις.
A few patches ago, we launched the champion
Καλό
durability
ήταν.
update.
Μπράβο. Καλή αλλαγή,
Our
όντως.
goal was to increase the durability
Απλά το κάνεις μέσα
and
σεζόν,
reduce the damage
ξέρεις.
and healing
Είναι
of
λίγο
every
περίεργο.
champion in League.
Ναι.
We've been closely monitoring the results, and after some targeted adjustments, we're really happy with where the update landed.
Και εμείς, to be
A
honest.
lot of you have mentioned how much you like the update, and that it feels good to have fights last longer with more chances for skill
Ισχύει.
expression.
Ισχύει. Μπράβο
And we're
σας.
glad that it helped make League feel fresher.
Ωραία.
That said, we don't have plans to make
Ωραία.
changes of this size outside of preseason in the future, unless it's really necessary.
Ωραία.
What we don't want is for huge changes like this to disrupt League's competitive integrity.
Ναι, τώρα το σκέφτηκεσαι. Εμάς μαλάκες δεν μας σκεφτόσουν όμως όταν κάνεις αυτή την αλλαγή μέσα σεζόν. Που έπρεπε το ένα πάτε στο άλλο να μάθουμε το game από την αρχή μέσα σεζόν.
Especially in the middle of the season.
Ναι.
Speaking of which, let's talk
Μπράβο
about
ρε,
our plans for
μάθατε
preseason.
τα λάθη σας. Ωραίος.
Similar to last year, we're making more targeted changes to various systems. Our multi-year goal is to bring everything in League up to modern standards before doing updates on the scale of Runes Reforged, Elemental Rift, or the item update again. So for this preseason, we're updating systems including communication and vision, making the jump...
Βάλε chat. Βάλε in-game voice να λυθούμε τελείως. Please, μην βάλεις in-game voice, παρακαλώ. Απλά θα χαλάσει όλο το League, ρε. Απλά θα καταστραφεί το παιχνίδι.
more exciting and accessible, and bringing back a familiar foe.
Ναι. Μην το βάλεις, please.
Our communication system is showing its age, especially in comparison to some of
Απλά
our
βάλε
other
παραπάνω
games.
pings και that's
So we're
okay.
giving it some much needed
Απλά βάλε
attention
παραπάνω
with
pings,
new
legit.
features.
Βάλε να πεις ότι θέλω να κάνω ας πούμε slow push, θέλω να νταϊβάρω, βάλε τίποτα τέτοια. Θα τα δεχτώ.
That'll make it easier
Μην
to
βάλεις
communicate
voice
with your
chat.
team and walk away with the win. To that, we're expanding our in-game ping system to allow for better communication with your team.
Ωραίος.
The current system only lets you share very basic communications. And while we appreciate your
ακόμα ένα πράγμα το οποίο δεν
ingenuity
χρησιμοποιεί
with the
κανένας
limited
σωστά.
pings you have,
Αλλά καλό
we
είναι.
wanted to give you more
Καλή
opportunity for clearer communication.
Ναι.
The updated pings will include everything
Engage,
you already know
assist
and
me,
love,
χαράς. Οκ.
plus expanded vision options
Enemy missing.
and
Freeze! Μπράβο.
a call to engage.
Push.
We're also thinking about ways to emphasize
Μπράβο,
pings
φίλε.
with teammates, plan macro strategy
Το χαράς τι είναι, ότι να παίξεις ξύλο στο lane, ρε.
for objectives, and keep track of where pings are on the map, even if they're off your screen. In addition to the changes to communication,
Κάτσε, αποκλείεται να είναι όλα καλά όμως. Δεν μπορεί να κάνει όλα καλά. Σίγουρα θα κάνει κάποια μαλακία.
we're making some small improvements to the vision system, as it's a bit outdated.
Oh.
It's not super clear that you can swap vision trinkets, and it's definitely not clear how you can best utilize them.
Εντάξει, τώρα αυτό ναι, που πρέπει να ξέρω το pixel δεξιά κάτω από το βουνάκι και την πετρούλα εκεί για να μπει το word. Ναι, είναι λίγο μαλακή, είναι αλήθεια. Δεν χρειάζεται να έχω τελειώσει πυρηνική φυσική για να βάλω το σωστό word από αυτή τη μεριά και να δω την χ πέτρα δεξιά η οποία είναι ορθογώνια και κάθεται από την άλλη πέτρα. Ναι, οκ. Προφανώς.
To that, we're exploring ways to make vision trinkets more intuitive.
Όχι, καλό είναι γιατί
You'll be able to see how many wards you have on
ήταν
the
irrelevant
map
αυτό που
and
υπήρχε.
preview where they'll go when placing them in walls.
Ωραία, ευχαριστούμε. Ωραία αλλαγή, μπράβο. Κάτι δεν πάει καλά με αυτόν. Αυτός θα απολυθεί, να ξέρεις. Αυτός θα απολυθεί γιατί κάνει σωστές αλλαγές. Είναι πολύ, πολύ ανάποδο από την νοοτροπία της Riot.
Another focus this year is the jungle.
Oh.
We know it's often a highly stressful role where you need heaps of knowledge to be baseline
Ναι, heaps of knowledge είναι, προφανώς.
proficient.
Heaps of knowledge.
There's a lot riding on junglers, as they're often the backbone of the team's strategy, while sometimes getting unjustly flamed. So we're looking to make some changes to make jungling more intuitive, and to help alleviate some of its more painful parts. Our first change is improving buff sharing. Donating buffs to your laners is an important part of being a jungler,
Okay.
but it feels bad to lose the gold, experience, and bonuses they provide. We're
Άρα,
exploring a bunch of things to make this more painless.
Κοίτα, αυτό είναι σωστό. By the way, αυτό είναι πολύ σωστό γιατί ο άλλος πάει και δίνει blue και πίσω δεν παίρνει τίποτα. Παίρνει ένα thanks bro, ευχαριστώ για το blue, έχεις mid prior από εδώ και πέρα.
Like buffs leaving behind a little friend that also has a buff, and a few other potential directions. We're also looking at ways of improving jungle camp patience rules. The goal of this change is to make it so you don't get overly punished by accidentally pulling camps too far.
Α, για το pacing για να μην γίνεται reset. Κάτσε, αυτό σημαίνει θα κάνω 15 κάνους μαζί όμως. Περίμενε γιατί αυτό είναι περίεργο.
To do red buff and raptors at the same time without one resetting. So we're making changes that will make it less punishing when that happens.
Ναι, αλλά δεν είναι πολύ noob αυτό.
We know some junglers like to hyper-optimize their clears, and we want that knowledge to be rewarded. We'll still keep unique, optimal clears for different champions, like Kayn starting raptors and
Για να
Shaco
δούμε
doing
πώς θα το
whatever.
μπαλανσάρετε αυτό ακριβώς, αλλά ναι.
All this said, we're not trying to make mastering jungle easier, but we do want to make it easier to start jungling.
Εντάξει.
We still want you to be rewarded for taking the time to master your role and champions. There are some other improvements we're exploring for the jungle, but it's still too early to share more.
Oh no.
So we'll check back in later.
Καλύτερα. Αυτό γιατί εμφανίζεται στην οθόνη μου, παρακαλώ. Γιατί εμφανίζεται αυτό το όνομα στην οθόνη μου. Oh no. Δεν μπορούσαν να ήταν όλα καλά. Δεν θα μπορούσαν να είναι όλα καλά. Oh no. Ωραία μαλάκα.
The final preseason change we want to talk about today is the long-awaited return of everyone's favorite Drake, the Chemtech Drake.
Ναι, ήταν αγαπημένος μας, ισχύει.
While we're bringing Chemtech Drake back from the dead, she won't bring you back from the dead anymore.
Okay.
Instead, the new and improved Chemtech Soul grants more damage and damage reduction when you're low health.
Okay.
And when the Chemtech Drake takes over the rift, the plants on the map mutate and become empowered.
Okay.
For example, Scry's Bloom will grant movement speed when moving towards revealed enemies, and Blast Cone will take you further than ever before, like
Τι είναι αυτό?
from blue buff to mid lane. We still have other plans for preseason,
Τι είναι αυτό ρε?
like from blue buff moving towards revealed enemies, and Blast Cone will take you further than ever before, like from blue buff to mid lane. We still have other plans for preseason,
δεν γινόταν να είσαι
including the
normal.
usual updates and tweaks to items and runes.
Έχει κι
We'll
άλλα.
share more information about our plans for these and everything we discussed today as we get close to preseason.
Εντάξει.
That's all I have today. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think about everything you heard.
Completion.
I'll hand things back to Reeve to
Από
say
τους
goodbye.
πολύ normal που έχω
Thanks,
ακούσει
Rock7.
τόσα αυτά χρόνια στη Riot.
So as you can see, we have a lot of exciting things in development.
Έχει κι άλλο. Δεν
And
τελείωσε
as
εδώ.
always, I've had a blast finally sharing all this cool stuff the team has been working on with all of you. Wait. Yeah?
Δεν είσαι καλός paid actor.
So I'm hearing that there is one last thing we forgot to show you all.
Draft.
You all remember the
Ωραία,
skin
φίλε,
line you
sure.
voted for at the beginning of the year, right? I think it was the Gothic skin line revamp. Well, our skins team has been hard at work reimagining that skin line, and they really want to share a bit of it with you now. So it's time for me to say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
And time for all of you to see some sweet concept
I love
art for the
those,
new
yeah.
Fright Night skins.
Πάρε.